Alright, so finding the nth term. Well, to do that, we're again going to need an equation. So we're going to have a sub n, and again, a sub n is just the nth term, equals a sub n minus 1 times r. Now, the fact that it has an a sub n minus 1 means previous term, which means this is a recursive formula we're using. So when we did arithmetic, we used an explicit formula. This was going to be a recursive formula. Okay. Now, that is a specific one if I'm using this one. I can also change this to say a sub n equals a sub 1 to the r n minus 1. So either one of those will work, but the difference is if I use the second one, I can use it as a little bit more like an explicit. I don't have to have the previous term. It doesn't really matter which term I use. Okay? So with the top one, I have to have the previous term. With the bottom one, I just, whatever term I need. In this case, I'm using the first term. And of course, I can change those numbers whichever one I want. So, our problem, we're going to say, find the ninth term, which is a sub 9. Okay? And we're given that the terms are negative 5, 10, negative 20, 40, negative 80. Okay? Well, my r is just going to be this term divided by the first term. So 10 divided by negative 5 equals negative 2. Or I could have done 20 divided by 10. Negative 2. Again, 40 divided by negative 20. Okay, regardless. So my r equals negative 2. I keep multiplying by negative 2 to get to the next term. So now I'm going to plug into an equation. I'm going to plug into the bottom equation. So I have a sub n equals, well, I have a sub 1, all right? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to use a sub n because I'm specifically trying to find the ninth term. So we're going to use a sub 9 equals, and I'm going to use a sub 1 times r, which is negative 2, to the, well, n is 9 minus 1. Well, a sub 9, I don't know what that is yet, equals a sub 1 is negative 5, negative 2 to the n minus 1 is 8. So I have negative 2 to the 8th power. Well, 8's an even number, so I know negative 2 is going to come out to be positive. So let's think about this. 2 times 2 times. So I can multiply 2 times itself 8 times, or use my calculator, see if I have one here. All right. So 2 times. And I get 256. So a sub 9 equals negative 5 times positive 256. So now I have a negative times a positive, so I know my answer is going to come out to be negative 256 times 5, 1,280. Now, the other way I could have gone about this was to actually find each term. So I know a sub 1 equals negative 5, a sub 2 equals 10, a sub 3 equals negative 20, a sub 4 equals 40, a sub 5 equals negative 80. Well, negative 80 times 2 is a sub 6, which would be 160. Multiply that times negative 2, all right, a sub 7. So 160 times negative 2, which would be negative 320. A sub 8 is negative 320 times negative 2, which would be positive 640. And then a sub 9 equals 640 times negative 2, which would be negative 1280. So either way, you get the same answer. One's just much quicker. All right, let's try that again. I have 3/4 negative 3/8, 3/16, negative 3/32, positive. Okay, so I see that I am getting positive and negative alternating, so I know that my R is a negative number. I see the top of my fraction isn't changing, so I know the top is a 1, because 1 multiplied by 3 each time is going to keep it 3. So a couple ways I can go about finding out exactly what R is, though. I can say, well, negative 3/8 divided by the term before it, which is 3/4. Okay, and of course when I divide by fractions, I flip and multiply, so negative 3/8 times 4/3. 3's cancel out, and I'm left with negative 4/8, which equals to negative 1/2. Or I can just think about the fact that the bottoms, I'll just keep multiplying by 2. So R is negative 1/2. All right. Well, we're trying to find a sub 9 equals, well, what? So I'm going to use my formula. So again, we have a sub n equals a sub 1 r to the n minus 1. Well, we're trying to find a sub 9, a sub 1 to the 9 minus 1. A sub 9 equals, well, I know a sub 1 is 3/4. R is negative 1/2 to the 8th. Okay? So in my calculator, I can plug that in there, but I want to keep it in fraction form. So that means, well, since 8's positive, I know I'm going to get a positive answer out. 1 to the 8th is just 1. 2 to the 8th, we just did. 2 to the 8th was 1, 2, 8, 0. Okay? So 2 to the 8th was 1280. So now we're going to multiply 3 times across. So 3 times 1 is 3. And then, pull my calculator back up. 4 times 1280 is 5,120. Oh, no, sorry. Made a mistake there. When we did 8 to the 1, 2 to the 8 we did earlier was not Algebra. If I do 2 to the 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I get 256. There we go. Now I'll multiply and get 3 over 4 times 256. 4. That's better. Okay, so a to the 9th is 3 over 1024. Sorry about that. Alright, now see if you can find the 10th term of numbers 5, 6, and 7. Go ahead and pause the video and I'll give the answers after you hit play. Alright, so hopefully you've gotten these solved by now. So for number 5, the answer is 39,366, and of course the R was 3. For number 6, you should have gotten 0. Make sure I get this right. 1. All right, so point. And there's 5 zeros and then the 5. And your R should have been either 1 over 10 or 0.1. And then for number 7, your answer was 64. And your R was just -2. Okay. And of course, if you have any questions or on these, if there's something you don't understand, send me an email or an Edmodo message, or just post it on Edmodo and see if it's one of your other people in the class answered as well. But I'll be checking Edmodo and especially email. So if you send me a question, I'll try to get back to you and help you out with anything you still don't understand. All right. Alright, so next we're still finding a given term, but instead of them giving us the first 5 terms, they're only going to give us 2 terms, okay? So we're trying to find the 10th term, which is a sub 10. And we are given that a sub 5 equals 96, and a sub 7 equals 384. So again, we're going to use our formula. So we have a sub n equals a sub 1 r to the n minus 1, but I don't have a sub 1, so I'm going to say, well, this is going to be a sub 7, and this is going to be a sub 5, so that's going to be to the r to the 7 minus 5. Okay, well, a sub 7 is 384, a sub 5 is 96, 7 minus 5 is 2, so I have r squared. I'm trying to figure out what r is. First, I'm going to divide both sides by 96. calculator. 384. Oops. Right, so we get r squared equals 4. And then we know to find r, you just do the square root of both sides. One thing that people make mistakes on, though, is my square root of r does equal 2, but remember it equals plus or minus 2. So don't forget that minus. That's what throws people off. So r is going to equal positive and negative 2. So when I plug in, I'm actually going to plug in twice. So we're trying to find the 10th term. So over here, let's say a sub n, a sub 1, r to the n minus 1. That's the formula, that's the basic formula I'm using. I'm going to use, plug in a sub 10 equals, and I'll use a sub 5 to the positive 2, 10 minus 5. And then over to the side, I need to say, okay, a sub 10 equals a sub 5 to the negative 2 to 10 minus 5. All right? We don't know what a sub 10 is. We know a sub 5 is 96. And 10 minus 5 is 5. Same thing over here. So, find out what my 10th term is. I'm going to say, all right, well, 2 to the 5th power. Well, I know 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. So, a sub 10 equals 96 times, well, that's positive 2, so odd, so that's positive 32. Over here, I'm going to get the same thing, except since it's an odd exponent, it's going to be negative 32. Now, if my exponent would have come out even, so let's say it was a 4 or a 6, then my negative would have gone away and I'd end up with the same number. Because I had an odd exponent, my two numbers are going to be different signs. So go back to my calculator. 96 times 32 is 3,072. So a sub 10 can equal 3,072, or a sub 10 could equal negative 3,072, depending on if r is negative 2 or if r is positive 2. Okay, so some of these you're going to get two different possible answers. We don't have enough information to determine whether r is positive or negative. We have two terms, so that's why we have two different answers there. Okay. We're going to try one more of these. We have we're trying to find the seventh term this time. So a sub 7 equals, okay, and then we're given a sub 4 equals negative 8, and a sub 5 equals negative 40. Now, on this one, notice they gave me consecutive numbers. They gave me the fourth and the fifth term. So instead of using my formula to find these, I can say, oh, well, what do I multiply negative 8 by to get negative 40? Well, negative 8 times what equals negative 40? Well, just divide negative 40 by negative 8. So that goes to be 5. So x5, or my r, rather, is 5. Notice my r is positive 5 because my negatives cancel out. So we get r is positive 5. We're trying to find our 7th term. So again, a sub 7 equals, well, I need to use one of those. I'll use a sub 4. A sub 4. So 5 is my r to the 7 minus 4. So plugging in. Don't know what a sub 7 is. I know a sub 4 is negative 8 times, well, 7 minus 4 is 3. Well, 5 cubed. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So a sub 7 equals negative 8 times 125. And then 8 times, negative 8 times 125. Okay, it's 1,000, but since one's negative, one's positive, it's going to be a sub 7 equals negative 1,000. All right, so I want you to go ahead and try to do numbers 8, 9, and 10, same way we just did. So do numbers 8, 9, and 10, and notice that number 8 has consecutive integers, a sub 4 and a sub 5, so you should be able to find the r really quick on this. So go ahead and hit pause on the video and try all of those, and then go over the answers. Okay, so for number 8, well, to get from negative 12 to negative 4, you should have multiplied by 1/3, so your r would be 1/3. And then when you got to the, you're trying to find the 6th term, you should get negative, so a sub 6, negative 4 over 3. For number 9, a sub 6 is 324. And for number 10, you're going to get two different ones. So those again where we had your square root. You would have gotten either 24 or negative 24.